Ever since the new multiplayer balance patch went live, I've been struggling especially with playing the macro game in the Zerg versus Protoss matchup. However, over the last week or so, I've decided to mix it up. I'm playing significantly more aggressively, and rather than just pushing with like Roaches, Ravagers and Zerglings, I've also decided to bring the Queens. Let's kick this man out of Grandmaster League. Let's do it, boys. Here we go. You think I feel bad? This guy is certainly on the lower end of the Grandmaster League ladder right now. Usually if you're between rank 180 and 200, you get kicked out. I know all about that. Reaching Grandmaster League on Europe is pretty rough, man. We're gonna try our best. Playing more aggressively does seem to have its benefits so far, so we'll keep doing that. Mr. Grandmaster, can you stop being a jerk to my mineral line, please? That'd be great, thanks. He stole my minerals! What a guy! The hell? Here I am, just minding my own business. He comes in. That's... that could be real. That could be real. Is it? Oh, gee. I see how it is.
We require more minerals.
I'm probably not going to be able to get much done, to be honest. I do kind of want to see him take the Nexus right now, because the thing is, I don't really know exactly what he's doing. Okay, there's the Stargate already. It's very quick. If he's kind of rushing my third base as well, that's pretty much game over. Okay, so it's a Void Ray.
We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. More overlords.
Link speed coming up. Oh, he actually left the Overlord at home. Okay, fair.
New subscriber detected.
Happy New Year, everyone. Just think we're going to make so many good decisions in this next decade, as if we're seeing with 2020 vision.
Wow. Dad. It's a terrible dad joke. Thank you so much, Rushy. Welcome back, dude.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require minerals. We require more minerals. Metamorphosis. We require more minerals.
You know what? No.
We require more minerals. Not enough energy. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals.
Oh, I already had a roach warren. Why did I make 2 roach warrens? 200 IQ confirmed, boys.
We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Not enough energy.
Double roach warren, new meta, guys. I've got one for every 6 roaches I've built. Good guy, Loco. I really care about my roaches.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. We require more.
There's another one.
Mineral field. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Not enough energy. Our forces are under attack. Some more overlords.
Oh, did I not start a lair? I really thought I did.
Mineral. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Okay, so those queens sadly will have to give their life for the swarm. These overlords also will need to go back, please. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know what you guys are doing here.
We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Mineral field depleted. We require more minerals. Metamorphosis complete. Mineral field depleted.
Brendas! Assemble!
Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Metamorphosis.
There it is, boys. Brenda and her knitting crew on a mission. That's one way to fight the cannon rush. So, this guy made it to Grandmaster League, probably cannon rushing the majority of his games. That's a little bit unfortunate. He's currently at rank 180, so usually what they do is they clear out like the bottom 20 or so, and then like when the re-ranking happens, which is once a day, they go from there. So you gotta basically, like, if you want to maintain Grandmaster League ranking, you gotta hover around at least like 175 to be safe. So it was one of those cannon rushes that was so late that I thought it was fake. So usually the way you can kind of judge it, if you go for a 16 hatch, right? If they start the pylon on the low ground after your hatchery is halfway done, usually it means it's fake. That's kinda true, right? So this guy starts it up. Yeah, in retrospect, I guess that's a little bit under halfway, but it's hard to say, right? Anyways, this would be the absolute latest possible timing for a cannon rush. It's the one you do after you basically go for a gateway on the low ground, and then once you see, hey, it's a hatch first from the Zerg, that's when you add on the forge. So this is after he figured out that it's hatch first. So it's one of those like responsive cannon rushes. This is the one that that Haas was doing quite a lot. So yeah, I kind of thought it was fake. Still decided to go for a couple of Ravagers at that point. Ravagers are still pretty good. Oftentimes, if they go for the Nexus before the Stargate, you can do like a Ravager push as well. So if they go Nexus before Stargate, the Void Ray is quite late. So anyway, I see there's a little bit of harassment. I end up losing all of these actually, which is a little bit sloppy. I think that was my biggest error this game. And here's the transition I've been making. So I've been losing pretty much all the macro games that I play in Zerg vs. Protoss. Zerg vs. Protoss macro right now is not treating me very well. Essentially what all the games come down to is that Protoss maxes out on Stargate units and then I die. So the way I've been resolving that is by going for about 50 drones. I saw Solar play this actually in a game. I go for about 50 drones, which normally you hit at 4.5 minute mark. In this game, it's a little bit, well, a little bit later than that because of like the whole early game debacle. So rather than going for a Lair and a Roach Warren against Stargate at that point, I decided to go for, well, initially 2 additional gases. Then I realized, wait a second, I only need 3 because I already made 2 in the main base, so I made 1 extra early. So I go Roach Warren plus an extra gas, 3 in total. And then with the push, you send the queens along as well, which is a little bit awkward. Takes a long time for them to arrive, but this seems to catch Protoss right at a moment where they are pretty vulnerable. So this is right when Protoss is going up to full saturation on the 3rd base. And it's like right in the middle of the transition. So I've done this a couple of times so far. It seems like if you hit this timing, it hits right before they get like their splash damage and storm and whatnot out. Now this guy didn't go for the storm. He decided to go straight to the fleet beacon. I'm not entirely sure on the timing, so it still is a little bit of practice, but I like this a lot better because it puts the ball in my court, you know? Like I get to pace the game a little bit differently. Rather than just simply sitting back and playing responsively, we push with the queens here, and it's really nice. So basically you remake queens at home, use those for injects and all that, and then keep rallying more Zerglings across. And then at some point, once you realize, hey, it's not going to work out anymore, that's when you go back to droning. I kind of expected him, honestly, to GG out when I killed the natural. So we push forward into the main base. And this is shortly after where I start droning again, I think. I think I should anyway. We do a lot of damage here too. Kill pretty much everything. Once again, shut down a couple of these forges, or a couple of these Stargates. And then he decides to stick in the game. So I think the reason why he decided to stick in the game is because he still has a very valuable amount of workers, but he doesn't have an expansion anymore, right? So he has to now take another base because otherwise he just really falls behind. If Protoss is more than 1 base behind against Zerg, it's really rough to win. So he decides to, since he still has 40 workers right now, he decides to take another Nexus. I figured it'd be either over here on the high ground or on the left. So we do have some Zerglings checking the different locations. I think I have some moving up here in a sec too. Yep. To try and figure out what was going on. And then I find the base in the bottom left. And then rather once again than sitting back, which I think he would have liked to see. I think I should have gone up towards the lair a little bit faster, but we decide to tech. I go for a little bit of everything at this point because I'm really far ahead. Probably could have gotten away with just the Hydra Den and the Nidus Worm. I didn't really think of the Nidus Worm though. So most of the games, right? So like I was saying, I lose them most often to Skytools in the late game right now because I start my upgrades too late. So that's the main reason why I decided to go for the Spire earlier here, so I could start upgrades a little bit faster, but decide to just lay down the law here by also going for a Nidus Worm, because I've been making queens at home, and queens seem to be the best source of anti-air. So the Nidus Worm could have definitely been quicker. I could have probably been more decisive there with the Spire. I also lost those 3 Ravagers earlier. I made extra queens at home, didn't inject perfectly. Like, there were some minor mistakes. I guess that's the difference between my MMR and players with like 500 MMR more. But this was a fun kind of game to play though, because rather than like always being in the passenger seat, you know, we got to sit in the driver's seat for once, which I think is my biggest issue in ZVP. Like, because of the previous meta where you just go for 1 million infestors, you can kind of win that late game quite smoothly. Right now, you have to be more aggressive. And I like the queen pushes a lot. The queens really work out. Oh, I also did make 2 Roach Warrens, yes. So that is also a little bit of, you know, a little bit of practice that is required. Anyways, now I'm rallying towards the Nidus Worm. Unloading over here so we can hopefully intercept some of those units as well. Corruptors really didn't do very much. Didn't really need them. I think extra Hydras and Queens would have probably been better. But... oh, that was a good one. Brenda and her knitting crew. Off creep. It takes them a while to get there. But luckily, they were powerful enough with their transfuses and everything else to obtain the victory. Nice.